What's up, y'all? We're back out here at the garage again to start off another fun video, doing another big upgrade project, or I should say a small upgrade project out here on my Granite Grom. We're taking this thing and turning it into my own 223s BLX with the power system and a handful of upgrades. Now, really quick, for those of y'all who may not be familiar with these little Groms, these are Arrma's 1/18 scale mini RCs. Now, the one we're working with here happens to be the Granite. This is the little monster truck version. Now, this is a 2S brushed system. They have upgraded the other two Groms here. I've got them here. You got the Typhon and the Mojave. These are basically what we're upgrading this to. This already has all of the 223s BLX upgrades. It's got a 3S brushless system, or 2 or 3S brushless system. It's got still got a 2-in-1 ESC, but this one's got a built-in gyro stability system on it. It already has the aluminum upgraded shocks, which we have already done that on the Grom, so don't have to worry about that. But it's got your aluminum adjustable steering links, and then it's also got your full metal diffs and out cups, your out drive cups there. So you got the metal cups and metal internal diffs, including the big sun gears, and you've got the aluminum wheel hexes, and that's front and rear. Your CVDs, all your outer cups are steel. Now, you do also have a cooling fan on the Mojave and the Typhon, the new ones here. Unfortunately, I don't think we have enough room. I do have one of these cooling fans, but we may not be able to put that here. I don't think it'll be a big deal if we don't get to. All right, I think we'll start out with the rear diffs and the out drives here. Now, this should be very simple. I think you just pull off the skid plate. Now I have to get my metal skid plate out of the way, and then these bumpers, I think the skid plate just pulls off. So let's see what we can get here. And then these two top bumper holders right here, looks like we should be able to pull that skid plate off. So I believe it's just captured by the hinge pins right there. So I think we can just pull that. Oh yeah, slides right off the front there. And then you got your diff case cover right here with these 4 screws. And then our cover should just pop right off the back there. Yeah, definitely. Pops right off, and then you can see your diff. Now the difference there again, you can see the out drives on the one end there, those are plastic, and the big sun gears inside on each end are plastic, where this is all metal. Now, of course, you can also just pull these plastic wheel hexes off. Well, you're supposed to be able to just pull them off. These things are on there tight. There's actually a hex. This axle end is like a hex. It's just a little threaded stub that goes in there, and this wheel hex is kind of like keyed on the back, and it screws it on there. I never actually taken one of these little Groms apart, so I'm assuming they're all like that. Well, all of the older ones like this anyway, not the 223s, obviously, because that's what we're changing it to. Now I can definitely see, after seeing this little plastic design right here, I can definitely see why you would want to upgrade this, because this is nothing but plastic keyed in, and it's only like 4-way. It's not a lot of spline, so I could see that twisting for sure. So anyway, now that we're back on track, I'm hoping we've got enough wiggle room. Oh yeah, that just falls right out. The dog bones fall right out, and then they should just push right out the end here without me having to take this knuckle apart, or at least that's what I'm hoping. Oh yeah, they're pushing out just tight in there because it's just plastic up in there. All right, I got these little ends pushed out, and then there's your dog bones. I had to get those bearings off of these little stub axle ends there. They were on there tight, went right back in there, and these fit over there really nicely. So this should be a nice upgrade to free everything up for sure. So these new stub axles, of course, just slide right in there from the back side inside the 2 bearings. Just like that, ready to roll. Now, as far as this diff, you can see there it says assembled oil-filled diff with 3,000 weight oil-filled. Now, I was going to just put it in there, but I figured out, let me open it up just to be safe. And there's your oil-filled diff. There ain't a drop of oil. I mean, there ain't none in the bottom. I've had it sitting sideways. There is not one single drop of oil in there. It feels like there's a little bit of maybe assembly lube or whatever they use when they assemble it. But as you can see, it's dry as a bone in there. So even though after looking at this, it's really not sealed, as you can see, there's no gasket there and there's no O-ring or anything. I'm still going to just put me some fluid in it. I'm going to put some 5,000 in it. Usually I just put it to the middle, about the middle of those spider gears. So I'm just going to put a couple drops and let it settle kind of even with that middle gear you saw there, or that middle shaft. I went ahead and opened up the other one too while I had the diff fluid out, and as you can see, same deal right here, dry as a bone as far as oil. You can see there's like a little bit of assembly lube, but that's it, no kind of oil in these things. All right, I got these diffs sealed and filled back up, so I'm just going to put it in now. This dog bone and diff installation here is just kind of going to be a balancing act. I'm sure y'all can see what I'm going to try to do here is just work it in there on both ends. So I'm going to need both hands for this, unfortunately. So let me see if I can do this off camera right quick. For those of y'all yelling at me through the screen that I didn't put my bearings on, you're right, I just about forgot. I noticed before I put that cover on, so don't fret, I got my bearings on there, as you can see. All right, I got that all buttoned back up, so you can see we got the all metal going on there now. And then you can put your wheel hexes on. Now I noticed they actually, I had 6 pins here, but they actually gave you a couple extra little pins for your CVDs in the front. So that's pretty cool in case something happens, it comes apart and you lose a couple pins. So that's the CVD pins, and then you've got one for each wheel. Now obviously I'm sure y'all know how to do this here. You put it through your little axle pin there and then put your wheel hex on, and these actually have little grub screws to lock the wheel hex on. And there's the rear upgrades completely done. Now the front's going to be pretty much the same other than the fact you've got CVDs, and then of course we've got to do the steering link. So I'm going to get all this stuff uncovered and then we'll go from there. All right, I've got the skid plate off and our wheel hexes and all that stuff. Before I open up the diff and do that, well, I'm going to do these steering links right quick. So very easy here. You just got 2 screws, one on each side to take these off. And then what I want to do before I put the new ones on is just get a measurement of this right here and just go ahead and adjust the new ones to what these are. So looks like from end to end, you're basically 1.96 inches. See, that's a little bit longer. That's 2.0. So I'm going to adjust this down to 1.96. And now that I've got it at the right size, installing it's just simply putting it back in and putting the 2 screws in. All right, I went ahead and pulled the front diff and the front CVDs. Front diff just exactly like the rear with the plastic ends. The front CVDs are steel shaft there, dog bone and the dog bone end, and then plastic ends. That just totally is just crazy to me, to spend the time to put a plastic end on a steel shafted CVD. But these new ones are all steel, the stub ends and everything. So you just slide these into bearings again, and then we'll line up the diff in the middle. And a little bit of grease and it's ready to put back together again. All right, I got everything all buttoned back up here. So we got all the upgrades on now for the 223s BLX, except for the actual power. So we've got the drive train, or the gear train, I guess you could say, ready hopefully to hold up to the 3S power. So now as far as swapping out this motor in ESC, I'm hoping this is going to be very, very simple right here. It looks like all of this stuff is going to mount right up if I take it out, and the motor. I'm hoping that the pinion and the motor mount and all is going to be okay. This is a 22 tooth pinion. I have no idea what's on here. So, and I've never taken this apart to even mess with this. So I'm assuming this front plate has to come off first. So that's what I'm going to start with. All right, with all those out, I'm assuming this centerpiece should just pull right off all the way down. I'm guessing even on the back here, huh? Yeah, I think it does. It's just a little tight on there. It's never been taken off. Oh yeah, now we're completely off. I mean, even the motor moves free now. I guess that's the way you're supposed to do that, and then this just holds the motor mount in there. Yeah, I'm sure that's how it works. This little rear clipless system's in the way, so I'm just gonna move that just to make everything easy to see. Oh yeah, much better there. Now, I can already see that's definitely smaller than a 22 tooth pinion, so we may have to do some working with this here to see what we got. All right, so I pulled this thing and did a little bit of looking. I think this is going to fit exactly. I think it's going to be meshed exactly right, because this mount, the one that's on the Granite now, is made for a 59/16, so 59 tooth spur. So that's what this is in a 16 tooth pinion, and this is made for 59/22, which is a 22, and that's a 59. So this should fit exactly in there, and I'm pretty sure even my motor mounts or my cooling fins on these things will pop right off, so I can put the red one on to match the rest of the red stuff. But the next thing I want to do is get this stuff out of the way so we can fit it all in there. I'm going to go ahead and loosen up this little servo arm here, and then it looks like just these 2 screws on the bottom should let this whole thing pop right off of here. And there we go, it just popped right on out of there. So absolutely 2 screws and the whole thing came loose. So hopefully this is gonna mount right up to the new one. So check this out, y'all. There's no doubt in my mind this is gonna be perfect. The front of the ESCs are exactly the same. All these mounting points line up. It's the same width. So let me get this servo pulled off and I'll move it over to the new one. All right, check it out, y'all. Servo mounted up to the new ESC. Absolutely perfect. So all this stuff is the same exact size and lines up the same. I'm just curious why they haven't made a Granite 223 BLS. Yeah, it dropped right in there. I mean, absolutely perfect, y'all. Everything lines up. This is really nice. I think I am gonna swap out this black heat sink for the red though, just because the red matches up all my stuff better. I mean, it matches all the other upgrades. So yeah, these just pop right off. I'm glad to see that. And it's supposed to just go right on there, and then we'll curve it over once we get this motor into place. So it's very simple with these mounts. The mounts just slot down into the slots there, and then again, the top up here holds it with the other slots on the top. All right, I'm pretty sure that thing just dropped right into place. The gear mesh feels perfect. I mean, I think everything's gonna line up absolutely perfect with this, y'all. Again, I was hoping there wouldn't be no trouble, but kind of looked a little funky when I took that motor plate off. Oh yeah, I mean, it dropped right on there, y'all. Absolutely perfect. No problem at all. All right, y'all, check this little thing out. Very, very cool. I think this little thing is super, super sweet. It's got the full entire 223s BLX upgrade. I mean, again, this is as close to a Granite Grom 223 BLX as you're gonna get. Totally upgraded with the Arrma stuff that comes in those new ones. So only thing left now is to see how it actually runs. So let's do a little bench test first and see if all these electronics work. All right, I got us a 1300 3S Spectrum LiPo in there. So, all right, so 3 means it's on next to the highest as far as the gyro. So let's see what we get here. Whew, I didn't like that little, all right, servo works. Servo works really nicely. Feels really, really strong. Now let's see. Oh yeah, check it out, y'all. Look at that. That's the gyro working. So we should be able to go here. All right, that's max gyro, max stability right there. Check that out, y'all. We got us a little stability control Granite Grom. So now we should be able to turn it off. All right, now that's completely off. Very, very cool. So it looks like everything's working as it should. Let's do a little throttle test here. Oh yeah, I don't want to go full throttle really, but I guess I could. Oh yeah, that wasn't even full throttle. That was like 3/4, y'all. This little thing is gonna absolutely rip. And then of course, one last finishing touch that I'm sure y'all saw on the thumbnail, we had to have a new body for it. All the new 223s BLXs come with a new body, new color theme. So I made me a new body there. Just something I threw together real quick. It ain't gonna win any contest, but old quick rattle can, no masks paint job. I thought that was better than just a solid color anyway. But I got a feeling this little thing's gonna be a whole lot of fun and probably pretty hard to control. So let's get it outside and check some speeds and have a little fun. All right, y'all, we got a little venue change here. I figured instead of that old grassy parking lot I usually use, it's got the grass in the cracks, I would come out here to this mall parking lot, because I got a feeling this thing's gonna be hard to control. Y'all can see I got it on 3S there. I'm actually gonna use my old body just for this speed test, because I got a feeling this bad boy might end up on its lid. So let's see if, what our steering, ooh, we're way to the right on the steering. That looks good right there, actually. We got a crosswind, so both directions should be about the same. Let's see what happens here. I mean, it wants to lift off the ground for sure. Oh, it's got some brakes, that's for sure. All right, let's try that again. I didn't even have my GPS on anyway, so let's see what we can do here. That those brakes are definitely sensitive. I'll have to be easy on them things. And right here, if you, I'm gonna go down here and start. If you stab this thing, it's going over. There's no doubt about it. So I'm gonna roll into it. Oh, and it still came over when, oh, that's some serious flipping right there. Hopefully, oh, and it's still living though. All right, that's definitely at our top speed. This thing is flying, y'all. I mean, absolutely flying. Don't seem like anything broke. You remember that Relarlo, one tumble like that out here and it broke instantly. Let's see what our speed was here. I got a feeling we're close to 50 right there. Yeah, 49 mile an hour. I'm not even gonna mess with it out here anymore because I'm sure this is a 50 mile an hour little machine all day long. All right, y'all, let's do us a few laps and jumps out here. This is definitely not gonna be a long session, I can tell you that, because it is freezing out here. Temps are high 20s and we got about 12, 14 mile an hour winds out here. And I'm tumbling already. This track is absolutely frozen solid, so not sure what that's going to do as far as traction. I've got the stability control on max out here for sure. This definitely going to need it. This little thing has got so much power. I mean, it easily overpowers this track now. And you can see I got ice and snow remnants out here. We got everything working against us, so that stability control is really working out here for sure with all these obstacles working against it. But I mean, I can guarantee you I'll run a few laps here and then I'll turn it off and see what the difference. I'm trying to make all kind of excuses, I know, but got gloves on out here and I hate driving or doing anything with gloves. I just can't get any kind of really tactile feel for anything going on. Like I'm barely giving it any throttle, y'all. Watch what happens when I full throttle it. I mean, it's just, you just cannot give this thing full throttle. You just cannot handle it. That's insane. So it's cool. I mean, it's really awesome to do these 3S upgrades and stuff to these little trucks like this. And even the 223S ones, the Mojave and the Typhon. I mean, that's wicked cool to be going 50 mile an hour with these little things. But I mean, honestly, it's not really that practical. I mean, there's very few instances, unless you're just one that takes it out and just jump after jump after jump full speed just to see how many jumps you can do to tear it up, because there's very few places you're going to be able to hit. I mean, look at that. I hit full throttle just to see what it would do, and from a roll it flipped itself over, y'all. That's incredible. I mean, I was in the middle of finishing my sentence of how many places you're going to be able to use at 50 mile an hour, and basically none was what I was getting at. I'm going to do that again just to show you. I know a lot of times when I'm editing, I'm thinking to myself, they probably think these cars are super slow. Watch this. I mean, as soon as I throttle it, I can make it flip itself over. I can literally make it flip itself over. Watch when I come off this ramp. I mean, I can lift the tires. I barely gave it any throttle because I was going to lose control. Watch this. Whew, I mean, it just almost lifted all 4 tires off the ground. Not just the front end, but it literally lifts almost all 4 tires and just flips itself over. That's super insane. Now, right now, in a straight line with this traction control, it's definitely got some traction because it's so frozen out here. All right, let's do us a few jumps out here and see how good it handles those. I got a feeling it's probably going to jump pretty well. Oh yeah, look at that air control. Did y'all see that? It was nosing down and just a little blip of the throttle straightened that bad boy. Oh yeah, and the brake. This thing has got very nice response in the air. Check that out, y'all. Ooh, that ice is slick. Look at that. You can do exactly what you want it to do in the air. I mean, exactly. Just a little bit of throttle. Watch this. I mean, it's just so you just do whatever you want it to do. If it's going nose down, a little throttle, nose up, a little brake, that's very, very nice. Let's try to get a few good ones out of here. Look at that, yeah. I mean, perfect air control. You just, whatever point you want it to, you can wait till the last second. Yeah, look at that. I mean, I went up and down. You can do like a little dance in the air with this thing. Very nice throttle response with that 3S. That ice is slippery though, I can tell you that. All right, let's try this again, y'all. I actually had to run inside and boost my camera batteries a little bit. This old cold freezing wind is draining them down quick. It had them where they was wanting to cut off. Let's see if we can do a few more jumps out here before, if you do a few more cartwheels before I turn into a doggone popsicle. I mean, this thing is insane. One thing I noticed I definitely need to get for this is a wheelie bar, because all it wants to do is wheelie. All I got to do is pretty much just stab the throttle and on command it's flipping over. I mean, right there I could have. Ooh, that was a little crazy. I mean, look at that, y'all. I mean, it wants to flip right over. That's just insane power for this little truck. And it does fly really, really nice. I mean, y'all can see, you can adjust the attitude like I've already said several times. I mean, really nicely. Probably do some nice donuts. Ooh, traction roll. I'm glad to see it's holding up nicely out here so far. I mean, I haven't been super rough on it, but it's done several cartwheels for sure. I wonder, it's nice the CVDs have held up, no dog bone trouble. I was kind of wondering about the dog bones. I mean, it's nice to have the upgraded drive cups, but you still got dog bones. I guess they're pretty strong. I thought about putting CVDs in the rear too. Maybe I will. That was crazy. I hit that ramp all off center. But this thing's nice. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of this too, as far as the speed, we basically made this thing 2.5 times faster. It was doing like 19 miles an hour on the original setup. And y'all saw we're right at 50 now. So 2.5 times faster. I would say that's a heck of an upgrade right there. All right, y'all, this really is a heck of a fun little truck right here, but I've had just about all of this freezing wind I can take for today, so I'm gonna call it right here for the first outing with my new little Granite Grom 223s BLX. I'm really impressed by this little thing. That's a whole lot of power in this little old drivetrain, but it held up absolutely perfectly. You know, I've did a whole lot of cartwheeling on the speed test out there on that asphalt, several different tumbles out here, and absolutely nothing broken. All the drive shafts in good shape, all the diffs perfectly good, no problems at all with this little thing. And I personally think one of the cooler parts about it is it's basically all OEM still. I mean, all of the upgrades are factory upgrades. I don't know why, but I just think there's something cool about factory parts as far as upgrades, even like the Traxxas factory upgraded stuff. I know you pay a tax because of the name brand, but it's just really cool to me for plug and play and to get 2.5 times the speed and just tons more power. But I'm definitely going to be running this some more, and I'm going to do a comparison now between all three of the Groms, since this is basically now a 223s BLX. It's just exactly like the other new ones now because it's got all the same exact parts. So I'm going to do a comparison with these three and kind of see which one's best suited for what purpose. And if y'all been watching my channel, you know I recently picked up that Losi NASCAR, which is basically a Grom. It's got pretty much all the same parts, and all of the same parts should be pretty much compatible, if you know what I mean. So if y'all do enjoy these videos, take a second, if you would, and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got the notifications turned on. I've got a lot more really cool stuff on the way, so stay on the lookout for that, and I'll see you soon.